Let's do it.
Welcome to RuneJammer 2023, first of its kind, and we are playing Blacklight today. A cosmic, not it's not necessarily just cosmic horror, but it can be cosmic horror. You are a paranormal, supernatural investigating team, and also able to take care of yourself in a hot situation. You're going to be in over your heads most of the time, and you're here to protect the normal people from the darkness, keeping back and keeping the light on the normal people. So, uh, let's talk about who we are. Player 2, Mr. Valentine Brunson. Can you tell me about who you are?
Yeah, my name's Valentine Brunson. I am a uh, special operator for the government. Um, he typically works CIA kind of individual type deployments rather than with large teams. And then during one of those deployments, encountered something that appeared to be a doppelganger and looked just like him and was mimicking his moves and all that kind of stuff, which sort of tripped him out. And then uh, eventually, through that particular mission, Blacklight contacted him and has begun utilizing him to uh, kind of seek out those particular threats just due to his area of expertise. His bond is his wife, and he tells her everything. She is what keeps him sane for after those missions. Well, as much as he can tell her, right? But um, he's very open, really open with her.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Mr. Jackson, tell us about Skip.
Skip Jackson here, America's favorite anchor. Ugh, I have to stop this. I'm so tired. I graduated college and just came out of journalism school, and I just wanted to be a weatherman and just work 4 hours a day and come home. But I was too good at my job and too charismatic, and I was approached by Blacklight, and I wasn't given a choice. I was sucked into this world, and I lie to America every day, and it breaks me. I I have trouble loving. The only person, or really only thing that I have in my life is my dog, Skippy Jr. And so it's really all I have. I go where Blacklight tells me to. I lie through my teeth, and I try to cover it up and keep the facade going one day at a time.
Not awesome, but awesome at the same time. Thank you. So, you guys are an unlikely duo. We got a face man and the muscle. Uh, and you guys are kind of riding around in your not necessarily a squad car, but like just an SUV of sorts, maybe an Explorer, and you get a call. Or where would you go? Not you don't get a call yet, but where would you go for breakfast in a small suburban town to say a place like Kansas City or St. Louis? Where would you go for breakfast?
I'm preferential to a local diner in a corner booth if I can find one.
Are we together right now?
Yeah, you guys are together in a squad car riding together, or not a squad car, but like a
Okay,
SUV of sorts. So you're riding together to
gotcha.
go get breakfast at your favorite local diner.
Okay, let's take
Uh,
eggs and hash browns.
eggs and hash browns. Okay.
Yep.
So when you get there and you order your eggs and hash browns, the server takes your order, uh, kind of chews their bubble gum, looks at you and goes, "I'll be right back," and goes back into the kitchen and stuff. While you guys are sitting there, both of your phones, actually pagers, I'm gonna say pagers, both of your pagers vibrate in your pockets, and as you take them out to look at them, you see a notification that says, uh, report to local neighborhood, disturbances found, blacklight involved. Over.
Shit.
All right, Valentine, we gotta get moving here. Finish up those hash browns.
Valentine
Skip's gonna
shovels
only
several
drink coffee.
forkfuls into his mouth and waves to the waitress and asks for a coffee to go.
She
And Skip
she
will take one more coffee. He's a caffeine addict.
she disappears in the back and brings back out a pot for both of you and some styrofoam cups. Um,
Thanks, love. And I overtip her like
she loves it, but then again, she has to deal with other people, so she's just like, "Thanks, hun," uh, and disappears back over to a different customer. Um, the first place that you guys arrive is a neighborhood uh, location with, I would imagine, like, the way I would describe it is um, your stereotypical um, suburban household, picket fences, um, looks like cookie cutter houses. Everybody's got their little sports car, or not sports car, but like the family sedan, and maybe a small pickup or something like that. Where I live, everybody has a huge pickup that they don't use appropriately. It whatever. Uh, so yeah, you got like picket fences, cookie cutter houses, nicely trimmed yards, maybe an enclosed deck in the back and stuff. And you got a cordoned off uh, police cordon in front of a house. A couple squad cars, and there's two folks that are out front that meet you and try and not necessarily stop you, but they are stopping you, and they say, "Hold up, who are you guys?"
On a need to
I'm
know
with
basis, identify yourselves.
Say it again, Skip. Sorry.
That's on a need to know basis. Who are you?
Well, we're part of the local police force, as you can see on my badge here. Um, Officer Bright. Um, we got an incident here. Are you guys the black light group that's got called in?
when they came up and started stopping us, I pulled out my pager and was started kind of holding it up horizontally, utilizing it like it's some weird kind of analysis mechanism, like some kind of science equipment, not a pager. And I like, oh yeah, look at this, and I kind of walk on past them like I'm enraptured in whatever readings it's giving me.
Okay. Go ahead and make a charisma roll, and let's see what they. If you pass, they don't pay any mind. If you don't pass, they're gonna engage you. So go ahead and do that. Boom! Look at that. Crushed it. Uh, and they don't even pay attention to you. They only pay attention to Skip because he actually engaged them for some reason. And Valentine, yeah, Valentine goes by and is looking at his pager like it's a tricorder from Star Wars. I saw it once on TV. That's how that works. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, or Skip, you see Valentine walking by. What do you want to do?
Um, I am going to keep talking to the officers here in front, and I'm going to try to convince them here that we're internal affairs and that we have reason to believe that the crime scene has been tampered with, and we're immediately very suspicious of any individuals that have already been here, including the two standing before me.
They look kind of annoyed at you, and they're like, "Well, we're the officers. Normally we don't commit the crimes, and we're called here after the crime. So, uh, I don't see how that we could be part of this, but I'll play along with you." Uh, so what we got here is a family of four. One of the occupants says that they were attacked by insects for some reason, and uh, the insects were enclosed in the deck, in the back, and didn't seem to leave, or they seemed targeted or interested. I don't believe it. Seems like a bunch of hooey. Probably a horsefly from a local pool that just landed on him, bit him, and he freaked out. Uh, there's a little bit of blood in the back. No one's dead, but it was enough for us to come in and take a look at it, and he threw a big stink. Then for some reason, you people show up. Black light and all, whatever. I don't care. Just don't cause any problems. And then just as you hear that, like the over their radio, it says, uh, "Did the black light operative show up?" And he reaches down to his little walkie-talkie and says, "Yeah, the two blacklight agents who are claiming to be agents showed up." And then he said, over the radio, they say, "Perfect. You are to stand down and provide assistance as needed. Return to your normal patrols." And you see that they just kind of look at you, Skip, turn around and look at Valentine, and they get back into their squad car and walk off. Blue and black, turning off their lights. There's red tape or the yellow tape still up, but it's not their problem anymore.
Are there other officers on scene?
No, it's just those two.
Okay. Is there anybody else here, like the family or something you're saying?
The family is inside the house. They were asked to
Okay.
not leave or go anywhere. So let's pull out some more index cards. I made some index cards last
And
night, guys.
the environment around the house, is there a lot of commotion, onlookers, anybody nosy that's kind of hanging around the tape that we notice?
Um, you would have seen some neighbors outside just kind of be like you said, being nosy, and mostly like through their blinds and looking through and stuff, looking at the neighbors. But they aren't
Hmm.
coming outside to really engage. And when you look at them, they snap the blind shut and play like they're not there.
Yeah.
We ain't seen nothing.
As when Valentine passed by those officers, kind of faking his way past them, as he got behind them, he turned around to Skip, kind of smiled and winked his eye at him, kind of like, haha, you got to talk to those losers. And then he made his way towards the front door, towards the entrance of the building or the house.
Okay. So as you make your way to the entrance of the house, you find that the door is slightly ajar. It's unlocked. You do hear people inside of the building, or not the building, inside of the house, sitting around in what seems to be the living room. So as you enter, you are now over in this context,
Okay.
and it. I'm just imagining like Stepford Wives, Stepford Wives maybe. No, it was a different
Yeah.
show where like they were all cookie cutter, what
Yeah.
the ideal picture of a suburban house, what house people are, and they all have like polos and dresses and nice button-up shoes and stuff like that. And the person who got attacked is the father, and he's got his arm bandaged up and he's crying. The wife is like, "Oh my goodness, you'll be fine. They're gonna get EMTs here and they're gonna take care of you." And the kids are like, "Oh my God, Dad, are you gonna lose your arm?" And that's the scene that you walk into.
Does the bandaging does it appear to have absorbed any blood?
It has absorbed blood. There does not seem to be any more blood. Uh, they did a pretty good job, and maybe like underneath the bandages, maybe his body had healed up or clotted up fast enough that it was able to
Yeah.
prevent more blood loss.
Hmm.
All right. Does anything look out of place? Any commotion? any broken glass, broken glass, upturned, overturned anything, anything out of alignment, or just the family kind of sitting here in what appears to be a normal otherwise living room?
Um, I don't know. I didn't plan for that, so let's ask Mythic Game Master Emulator here. Um, are there any signs of disturbance in the house? No. Okay, so inside the house, there is no broken glass or anything like that. When you're looking around, the family set the father and the wife look up to you and say, you must be the special agents that came in. Yes, you're looking for more information.
Yeah, I'm Agent Friday. This is my partner here.
Hello,
He's
agent.
gonna he's gonna ask you some questions. I'm gonna go ahead and look around.
Oh, okay. Uh,
Where
Thanks,
did the
Agent
attack
Friday.
take place?
It would have taken place on the back deck, out by the the kitchen.
So he walks over to the back deck area and kind of just peers the window, and as he's listening to Skip talk with the family there.
Skip, do you give him your name or do you have a
So,
fancy code name too?
no, my name is Peter, and I am a support detective with the police, and I'm here for your emotional well-being. And unfortunately, we're going to have to kind of talk through some of the events that happened and some memories here so that we can address these and bury them quickly. So tell me everything that happened.
Uh, I was getting the grill ready. We were gonna have lunch in the back deck and enjoy the sun. And all of a sudden, when I came back out of the house from getting burgers and stuff, the entire back porch was full of bugs, flies, just insects. And at first, they just kind of swarmed around, and I swore I saw somebody in there, but then they started eating me or attempting to land on my skin and then biting. And as you can see, I've got this bandage here on my arm.
So, kids, did you see anything?
I was the one of the middle kids. I was in my room and I heard Dad start screaming, so I came out in the back and I saw a ton of bugs and I I covered my face and I opened the back door to hopefully let them out, and they eventually left after I opened the door.
Hmm. Mom, where were you in all of this?
I was in the kitchen. Uh, I wasn't paying attention to the back deck because I never have to, and it really rattled me. It makes me realize that I'm not safe here anymore. Things We need to leave. And she like taps her husband on the chest and is like, "We need to leave."
Do I see
You don't
anything
need to
outside the
leave
windows
just
or
because of some
outside on the deck?
bugs.
Okay, so Skip says you don't need to leave because of this, and then the camera slash cut over to Agent Friday on the deck. Uh, when you get to the deck, uh, the scene that you see is mildly disturbing. So go ahead and take a sanity. Uh, you see just mounds of flies, dead and unmoving, uh, all over, covering everything. Some burnt and stuck to the grill, mostly on the floor, on the table next to the grill. Uh, but as it goes out the open doors, as you see the open door in the back, the the flies just kind of dissipate in a trail and then seem to go somewhere else. Um, and as you're looking around at the back deck, you do see signs of like what seems to be like nibbling on the plaster and the paint and the wood and stuff like that. Get down.
So he's gonna wander back towards Skip and says, "Yeah, Peter. Yeah, it looks like we got some of them Alabama tick flies that I think looks like that might be going on out there. Yeah, Alabama tick flies, pretty common coming through the area. I'm not
Oh,
no
you see, folks,
insectologist.
Friday already knows what they were. You don't need to leave. Everything is very safe here.
Do I need to get new pesticides? Like, should I just DDT my yard?
Yes, more chemicals is usually better.
Okay. I'll have to hit up the local grass pad and see what they can get me for dealing with Alabama tick flies?
Yeah, that's right. They came up from Bolivia. Yeah, last year.
Oh, must be like those beetles that came over on boats and stuff.
Mm, yeah, yeah. I'm not an
Exactly,
insectologist, but
exactly.
it can hurt. They can sting. But let's go and take a look at that arm here. And then he looks at Skip. It's like, hey, let's and kind of gives him a look like, yeah, let's see what's going on with this. Let's go dive a little bit deeper. Can we remove your bandaging here?
Sure. It hasn't seemed to have gotten any worse, but it definitely still stings and burns. Uh, and he slowly starts removing his bandage as gingerly as he can because it does sting. His wife has taken the bandage and stuff, and when it finally gets down to the skin, it looks like uh, kind of like lamprey bites, kind of, or like they're
Hmm.
arrayed in those kind of patterns and stuff like that. But for being flies, these are pretty big bites. They're not as huge as lampreys, but they're in the shape of like a lamprey bite and things like that. And yeah,
Those
Oh,
flies will bite you good. We gotta make sure you get the good Chinese pesticides going as quick as you can.
yeah.
do the wounds are the wounds seeping at all? Is it swollen, or do we just say like the ring marks?
You see ring marks. There is a little bit of swelling, um, but it doesn't seem like like a brown recluse bite or anything. He's not gonna lose the arm.
Gotcha. No redness, like it's traveling up through the bloodstream. Anything's
Yeah,
traveling that way.
pretty
Okay.
localized.
Okay. Uh, thank you, Mister. What did you say your name was, sir? I apologize. I forgot.
Uh, my name is Doug. My
All right,
wife's is
Mister Doug.
Janelle.
Uh, yeah, thank you. You can go ahead and wrap that back up. I would take probably just take some Benadryl.
Okay. So as you,
Valentine, you want to go check out their sorry, Valentine, you want to check out their bedroom here? I'm whispering to him. I'm gonna try to go check out the back deck and see if I can't investigate these flies or see if we can't draw something out while we're still here.
So, yeah, I'm going to take a look through the. Sometimes they can get into the walls of the house, so he pulls out his pager again and starts kind of waving it at the walls. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to take a look around here. Stay here so we don't startle these things. And he starts walking through the house.
nice. Okay. So I'm gonna put Valentine in the middle. Skip is going to the back deck, which is gonna be kind of in between there. Uh, who wants to go first? Well, actually,
Skip,
Um, I'll.
the easy one
What do
will
you think?
be
Sorry, Phil.
Valentine. When you get to the bedroom, you don't really see much. You see some flies on like the windowsill and stuff, and more chewing marks or what looks like dried up paint, but it's kind of eat like the flies have got the paint's colors stuck on them and stuff, so they're like black flies with specks of white and what looks like paint and stuff like that.
and obviously, I'm guessing they probably don't look large enough to leave the type of wound that was on Dougie.
No, they would have been about the same size. Uh,
Oh, okay.
Imagine like big bloated horse flies.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, sorry,
Are they? They're
I
on
don't
the
think I made that clear enough when you're
inside
on the
of
back
the
deck.
windowsill.
Say again?
They're on the inside of the windowsill, like in the
Yes,
room.
but they are dead.
Gotcha. And just at the window, yeah, not anywhere else in the house or in the
Nope,
room.
not anywhere else in this room.
Uh, I will take note of that. Any on the outside of the window? Or are they just on the inside of the window?
Just on the inside of the window. It looks like they were trying to eat the starches and paints and other sugary or things that bugs would normally eat.
I'm gonna open the window, and uh, yeah, there's no. I'm guessing the screen's missing then or something.
Yep, there are bite marks in the screen and holes, like if somebody were to have taken a finger and just scratched at it and stuff like that.
Right. Okay. Um, I probably have a. I would like some type of a what do you call like a specimen type vial, and I will brush some of those flies into the vial and slide that into a pocket.
Okay. Yeah, that totally makes sense. I could see that. You guys would have like probably some pill bottles or like uh, the stoppers that you would get. I forget what those are called. Not graduated cylinders, but I think everybody has them in some movie at some point when they're narratively appropriate.
Hmm.
So yeah, you were able to get a couple of the flies, or as many as you want, and scrape them into the test tube.
And then uh, what? As I move through some of the other rooms, do I also see flies at those windows as well?
Yes, you do see flies at the windows. The same large flies. If somebody that wasn't actively looking for it wasn't looking for it, they wouldn't have noticed that this is an inordinate amount of flies. They would have just been like, "Oh, this family is a bunch of messy people that don't clean up their windows, and they have
Right.
dead bugs everywhere." Uh,
Yeah, but that doesn't make sense with the polo shirts and the Stepford lifestyle.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's probably it for my turn.
Okay. Skip, you head out towards the back.
Yeah, so yeah, and I'm looking for the grill, and I'm gonna try to light that grill up and see, does that attract, flies, any, bugs in extreme numbers want to come towards this fire. And if not, then here I'm gonna look around for the pile of flies and start throwing a few piles of flies into the fire and
So
what happens.
as you come out to the back, um, make a charisma or a wisdom check. I imagine Valentine, did you tell Skip about the piles of dead flies, or were you just letting him view it on his own?
No, I haven't. I haven't gotten on radio or been able to communicate him. If he was right outside of one of the windows, I would have said something.
Okay. No,
But other
he's
than that, I did
Mm,
not yet.
so you're gonna have to reduce your sanity by one, Skip, when you see this disturbing scene of all the flies and just massive amounts of dead bodies, and when you go out to try and like turn on the grill, just the most sickening crunch
mhm.
sounds possible of all these crispy dead little bugs. Just when you turn on the grill, you don't actually see much of anything beyond the ordinary. It's just a grill. No flies in the grill because probably burnt up or it was just too hot. Um, However, as you are outside with your visionary capabilities, you do get a sense that there was something here. Um, Somebody was watching, and then when the victim yelled and went inside and stuff, the person or the thing had taken off and left the area when the door was opened, and you can see like a trail of flies or like essence kind of tracking somebody's essence or something like that heading out into the side of the house.
Mm. I think I'll investigate that here on my next turn.
Okay. Valentine.
Um, and so the attack happened outside, but we got flies on the inside. Yeah, is
Yes.
okay. No one else has been bit. Um, I guess I'm gonna make my way back out towards and kind of meet up with Skip on the patio to try and look around outside with him. Um, when I find him on the deck at the barbecue, let him know that hey, got a whole bunch of these Alabama tick flies inside the house as well, and I kind of show him with a vial and slide that back into my pocket.
Oh, these things are disgusting. Like, why didn't you give me a heads up? There were so many out here.
I haven't.
Um,
I don't know. You're welcome.
all right. Well, I see something weird along the side of the house, like some more kind of like smaller things, some kind of trail. I'm gonna see maybe if we can't wrap around. I can go one way. You want to check out the other side, and we'll meet back up front.
Yeah, sure. Have you ever heard of fly? I mean, have you ever heard of insects doing this? I mean, it's this doesn't seem too strange necessarily at this point, other than these big ugly flies.
Uh,
Uh, I'm not
I
sure
don't
why
know
we
what
got
these
called in
are.
on this.
I don't know if this is something that we should be concerned with, or if it's really just yeah, I don't know. Let's just get out of here. Let's get this wrapped up quick.
So,
All right, I'm just hoping it's not like when we were in Seattle. We spent 2 weeks and it turned out to be nothing. And as he walks off
Ugh.
around to the uh, to the opposite side of the house to kind of look around to see if there's any footprints or anything underneath windows or any type of interesting tracks or marks on the outside of the house.
as you guys both go around each side of the house, um, you hear a buzzing sound, and you catch the tail end of what looks like a swarm of uh, insects that
Mm-hmm.
just disappear back into the front of the house, and the buzzing sound seems to be getting softer as it gets further away. And both of you see this.
Hmm.
Almost like they're fleeing from us.
Kind of, yeah.
I'll kind of pick up my
Interesting.
pace to sort of see where they're headed to see if there's a hive or I don't know, whatever they might use as their little home.
So as you round the corner, I imagine you're probably putting a little more boogie in your step than Skip.
Yep.
Uh, you see something that looks like a black mass of bugs, flies, and make a wisdom check for me. And what you're,
Got it.
depending on your success, is at 10, so
Oh,
hopefully it should be pretty
I gotta
easy.
click that. Wisdom.
It just looks like a big black mass of flies, and
Uh,
the mass like kind of turns towards you and then turns into a stream of flies and goes up and over another house and disappears down further into the neighborhood and out of your reach.
um. Well, saved the day again, I guess. He kind of meets up with Skip and says, "Did you see that? They left."
I didn't really see anything. I mean, I kind of saw some flies, but I don't really know what we're dealing with here quite yet.
Well, they so big swarm came around to the front, then they sort of just took off through the neighborhood. Uh, so I'm gonna contact emergency dispatch, and if they get any further calls from any of these types of bites, to let us know about it.
Well, just in luck, um, they tell you that there is um, an anomalous or anomalous disturbance in a local pasture nearby, and they want you to go investigate that as well, see if there's any connections. Just seems too close and localized to be a coincidence.
All right.
All right,
And
we
then
got to check it out
so
here.
yeah, I'll drive. I would imagine Valentine probably wants to drive,
Mm-hmm.
in case you need to do any
Then Skip
fancy
wants to be
driving.
driven.
uh, yeah, as we'll say our goodbyes to the family. Said we'll keep them posted if we find anything more. If there's anything more to be worried about. But at this point, seems like just a typical fly attack situation. They become more common, but just might want to bump up your chemical use around the house. I think that's usually best for everybody.
Okay. We'll head to the local grass pad and get some services out here. Thank you.
All right, be
Uh,
well, folks. Take care.
thank you. Thank you for reassuring us that we don't need to leave.
Certainly. And then I hand what was her name? Janelle, the
Yeah,
wife.
Janelle.
Hands her his empty coffee cup and says, "Would you mind throwing that away, ma'am? Thank you much." As they leave.
All right. So yeah, you guys exit the house and get in your vehicle. Um, kind of toting you around. It seems like you are gonna head down this in your vehicle. You're heading towards the countryside. Um, you have like the 90s equivalent of GPS, and
Mhm.
it leads you down the this winding road out into the country a little bit. Not too far, but it's far enough that it's country. And you come up to a pasture, and you happen to see what looks like a dead horse, a couple dead cows, and looks like they've been there for a bit. The farmer is standing out on their in their field, not in the field, but like near the pasture, foot up on the fence, mulling over something, chewing on a toothpick, and is just like staring, looking out into the field.
Question, Skip. Your character,
Yeah.
is he taking, being a reporter guy, is he taking like notes on a notepad or anything like that? As like a reporter might do?
Um, not really. He's more like an anchor, and I think
Okay,
he's kind of like above that. So like, someone else would give him the notes, or like, he has the experience, but like knows what to say and what not to say.
gotcha. Okay, I was just curious how what that looked like. Cool.
I think Valentine might be more likely um, to be the diligent one and like follow protocol to take notes versus Skip.
All right. Yeah, Valentine's definitely not a note taking kind of guy. He's more of a door kicker fella.
Yeah,
But
that's what I was gonna say.
Oh, nice. I like it. Then
however,
neither of
he
us are taking notes.
no, and things that aren't of interest to Valentine, he's ready to move. He's kind of gets ready to move past. Like let's find some action here, type of a thing.
Yeah, but you know what I will say? I think Skip like remembers, and like I am taking I as the person I'm actually like taking notes, but
I
I
was
think
gonna say
Skip just remembers everything.
I would
He
see
doesn't need
Skip
to
as
take
kind of like a
notes.
steel trap. I'm sure he's probably got a good memory for things.
Hmm.
Probably why he's struggling as a news anchor because he remembers everything, not just reading off a teleprompter.
Yeah. So I'm like, "Hey, Valentine, let's pull over here. Let's go see if we can't get a closer look here at that cow. Speak to that farmer."
Does through the window does Farmer John look distressed or anything, or does he just look like he's just kind of hanging out waiting for us?
He's just hanging out. He's not really looking at you, because he's used to people driving by on the gravel road and ignoring them and stuff. He's just foot up on the fence, leaning on it and looking out. He's got his hat like a not a 10-gallon hat, but like a big straw hat with a toothpick, and he's just
Hmm.
kind of like, damn it, uh, like just kind of visible confusion, frustration,
Hmm.
worried, but also like I don't know what to do with this, and this is just interesting, but not good.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, I'll pull the car off to the shoulder, put it in park, get out, and I kind of take a moment on the side as I get out to kind of just scan the scene. Again, that's something I think Valentine does on the regular. He'll sort of, when he's entering a scene, he kind of pauses and to kind of take in the landscape, and before he kind of moves into the scene. Um, so at that point, kind of, I guess, allowing Skip to go up first, and he'll come up in a second after he's kind of done his scan.
Okay. So yeah, Skip, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna come up here to the farmer, and I'm gonna identify myself here as a local reporter, and say, hey, my name is Pete with the local news. We heard that there may be some strange going on down here with some livestock, and we've just stumbled upon you, sir. Could you tell us what maybe happened here?
Kind of swishes his toothpick back and forth and side eyes you, and he says, "Local news, huh? I don't need you. I don't need you trying to twist what I'm gonna say out of shape here. But what's going on? I have no clue. Under this blue sky, I have no clue. All of my I don't know why he's got a Brooklyn accent either. This is where I go. Uh, he's like, I go to sleep last night, feed my animals, come up this morning, and I got 3 or 4 dead animals. A dead horse, my favorite dead horse, and then a couple of my cows that I keep up close to the barn, just dead. And flies everywhere. And I don't get it. They shouldn't have been this desiccated or this rotten by this time. If anything, they should have just been not moving, and I would have had some time to hopefully fix them or get them like out of the area. But now I'm not gonna go over there because there's so many flies. And you see these things? They're huge. He like pulls over some binoculars and hands them to Skip. Uh,
Mm.
and since you've seen this before, it's not that you're not gonna lose any sanity, but it is still mildly disturbing in that
Mhm.
if they did die, it looks like they've been decomposed for at least a week and just eaten alive by flies and stuff like that. Um, yeah.
Ugh, gruesome.
Uh, yeah.
Valentine, what were you doing with your not scanning thing?
Yeah. So he doesn't pull out the pager at this point, but he finishes kind of looking around, just kind of scanning, just eyesight wise, just and so we do see a bunch of flies still out in the fields.
Yes. You do see
Okay.
flies. Uh, they're not as concentrated as they were in the house, but they're still like around the bodies of the animals, and
Mm-hmm.
it does look like there was trails heading back into town. I don't know. Would I roll for that? I'll give it to you. When you're looking around and you're like kind of walking by and you like make a circle of the pen and you get closer to the house, you do see um, more flies around by the house and nibble marks and stuff and missing patches of paint. But then there's also other missing patches of paint and cloth and stuff like that, and their clothing on a drying line has holes in it and looks like something had like cut holes out with like a kid with scissors making holes in
Okay.
paper and stuff like that. But it looks like something had chewed on fabric and different stuff like that.
Mm. Um. And the animals look like they've been dead for a week, but they only died last or just over the past 24 hours.
Yep.
Uh, um, I asked the farmer, prior to this, anything the previous week kind of out of the norm. Have you seen any flies around? Any increased activity? Uh, pro- Building up towards this.
No, but with the weather and stuff, I would imagine that it would have been a little rougher on the animals, but I keep giving them food. Um, we had somebody coming by screaming at us that we were on top of some historical ancestral burial sites and stuff like that. And then I was like, okay, well, according to the previous owners and stuff, we didn't really do that, and this house has been here for almost 2 or 3 generations, so I don't think that's true. But
Who's yelling at you? Just anybody, any type of person in particular, or multiple people?
some of them dang hippies, the shaggy
Yeah, the
types,
hippie.
and uh, yelling at me that I'm ruining nature and that nature's gonna come back and stuff. And I'm like, well, good thing you gotta eat because I'm gonna go ruin nature, right? And he ribs you a little bit.
Well, neither of you are wrong. That is the truth.
But
And
but I did have a weird buzzing dream last night, but nothing really, nothing. Woke up, poked my wife, nothing happened. She was asleep, I was asleep, so I went back to bed. Uh,
what did you say? A buzzing dream? What took place in that?
it just sounded like like the TV when you turn the channel and you get to the channel it isn't working. Just sounded like in my head. Uh, maybe I was maybe I was hearing what was going on out here, and my mind was just processing it in a certain way.
So just auditory. You just had basically an auditory dream. No visuals connected to that.
Yeah, no visuals.
Valentine looks at Skip and kind of gives like a huh, interesting kind of a expression. And then mm, mm, any person been bit? Your family? Anybody there been bit at all?
Well, I had one or two of these big old bloat flies try and get at me, but I'm pretty good with the whole Judy chap getting them away from me. Wah!
Yeah, yeah. These are the Alabama tick flies. That's clearly what these are.
What no what?
Yeah, Alabama tick flies. They came up from Bolivia, settled in Alabama. This is a pretty normal thing, and so it's just we're just not used to seeing them in this quantity. But this is definitely their type of behavior. Nothing really to worry about too much. We're other than your horses and such, which yeah, I'm sorry about, but um, there's no public emergency here. But we'll continue to look into this.
Interesting. Well, who'd you guys say you're with? The local
Oh, I'm with
police?
the no, I'm with the Federal Department of Animal Control.
Hold up. I didn't do anything wrong, so I don't want you to be holding me accountable for what happened here. This is all a freak
Oh,
accident.
no, we're here to control, animal outbreaks like this.
Okay. Well,
He looks at Skip like I don't know.
well, do what
Yeah,
you need
I'm
to
just
do.
here to, report a story here. I'm working here with local agriculture representative, and we heard there may be something strange down here, and sure enough, we did find something that happened to you, mister, and I don't think that what you're saying is strange at all. So, have you heard, any similar stories from any of your neighbors? Is this really the first time anything like this has ever happened? Because if there's these flies are, spreading, if they're reproducing, we've got to figure out, where they're coming from and take care of it and let the public know.
Okay. Well, I trust y'all. Imagine you'll probably want to investigate the bodies. I don't know if you got one of those beekeeper outfits or something to keep the bugs off you, but you'll probably want to have something to deter the flies or cover yourselves up. I'm gonna go back to tending to my stuff over here. I gotta fix this tractor up so I can get back to work. Any
Hey,
kind
real
of
quick, Farmer, any recent changes to any chemicals or foods, or have you done anything new or different to this area in the past couple weeks?
uh, well, there was a gentleman who came like one of those walk-in salesman people. I don't know why he came all the
Mm.
way out here, but he came out here and he was selling me some some sort of uh growth additive for field like grains and other stuff, and it seems like he was trying to get it so that way I could get more yield, make my animals healthier. It was like the miracle solution. So I bit, and it seems that my animals did too. So I lost a whole bunch of like crops and stuff because of it, because I had to can't. No one wants to buy it, and well, my horses and my cows seem to have eaten it, and now they are the dead.
Do you have his card?
No, but I have a receipt.
Yeah, I think we'd like to take a look at that if you wouldn't mind, please. If you wouldn't mind fetching that while we take a look at your animals here.
Okay. So, as he like goes inside the house, the screen door slams shut behind him, and he disappears into the house. You hear something that sounds like buzzing, and the buzzing sound increases. But when you look over, you see one of the carcasses start to kind of undulate, convulse, and like it looks like the rib cage is kind of like someone's trying to push it out, or something's trying to push it up and out so that way it can get out of the like a box.
Skip, that thing's about to pop.
I don't want to be anywhere near that thing.
Um,
Uh, I'm gonna head back to the vehicle and get inside and watch through some binoculars.
so as you do, uh, you watch what happens, and like the rib cage just kind of exposes like it was a door, and just inside is black nothingness, but then out of it comes a big mass of flies, and they're like kind of coming out, but then the farmer comes out and he's yelling all sorts of absurdities, and he's got a blowtorch flamethrower. We had one on my
Mm-hmm.
farm, so it's I assume it's normal. Comes out and just starts torching the body, and you
Mm-hmm.
hear just this awful screeching noise of awfulness. I don't know how to describe it, but like if you were to take nails on a chalkboard, detune it, and make it like reverse and all that stuff, that's the kind of sound you're hearing. Uh, roll a 1d6 for sanity loss, or not sanity loss. Let's see. What was the rule for that? I think it is make a sand check. So you need to roll a wisdom roll against the target of 10.
Oh, critical, sir.
Yeah, so you're gonna roll a 1d6 plus 1 for your sanity loss. Skip, on the other hand, just rolls a d6.
Oi.
Oh,
All right, so remember you can lean into those bonds
all right.
and kind of use that as a buffer to reduce the. I think you can use that to reduce the sand loss here. Yes.
Yeah, for half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll go down to. I'll do that.
Minus one on both.
Yeah.
Jesus, look at this guy. It's you ever see do you see that movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where that fella came out with
Yes.
the flamethrower afterwards, and that's exactly what we got going on right here, but it's the hillbilly version.
And as you guys are saying that, the farmer just like drops the flamethrower and covers up his ears, and is just like, ah, and is super upset, but doesn't know what to do or how to handle it and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, what do you want to deal with? What do you
Hmm.
want to do with this information?
Are the flies all burnt up and dead?
Yes, the carcass
Okay.
is burnt up. If you look at it now, it doesn't seem to have the black void inside of it, and the flies are all dead.
Okay. And he's just still at the porch screaming.
Yeah, he's like adrenaline's running. he's panting, and he's upset that he just had to torch his horse, and even though it's dead, it's still, why did I have to do this?
Okay, screaming in that sense, not like he's in pain or nothing.
More emotional pain than
Gotcha.
physical.
Yep. Okay. Uh, oh boy, I guess we got to go to work here. He says to Skip as he opens the door and steps out. And then Valentine's going to walk up to the farmer and kind of sit him up and said, uh, "You did the pretty slick moves you got there. Thinking fast and taking care of that. Um, so, did you get the receipt?"
Yeah.
As he's kind of awkwardly patting the guy on the shoulder, trying to reassure him, but not quite sure
Mhm.
how to like can like offer that comfort.
Yeah. So he's just kind of like saying that, and you find that he gestures around, but you find the receipt on the floor behind him. Not the floor, the ground behind him, on like the sidewalk and stuff. So you're able to pick that up.
All right. Valentine's gonna sit down kind of next to him as he looks at it, as he sort of okay. He got the next piece, the receipt, to kind of the puzzle, and he's gonna sit down and kind of let some air out and just sort of process the what he just saw and just heard, because he's still hearing those insects buzzing in his ears. Uh,
Yeah, as you pour over that um the receipt, I'm gonna roll another die here. Perfect. Okay. Uh, as you're pouring over that receipt, the only name that you see for seller is the master.
hmm,
And it says um, Fey Realms Incorporated.
huh. Uh, doesn't mean anything to Valentine.
But you do have a visionary on the team, so he may be able to call in some contacts or something too. But we'll see what Skip wants to do.
Um, and that's called what? It's Fey.
Uh, Fey Incorporated, I think is what I said. And the seller was
Yeah,
the master.
the master. So I want to hmm, I think we gotta leave. I think we've got to figure out how to figure out where uh we can find this master, where we can purchase something, or maybe we can lure him to us, is what Skip's kind of thinking. How do we get a purchase, pretending to be a farmer, perhaps? Um, so maybe I'll come walk up with Valentine and the farmer and do a quick ask and say, hey, where did you meet this guy here? If you could point us that direction, we'd love to go um, see if we can't continue our line of questioning, close this story up.
I don't know where I met him. Well, I know I met him here, but I don't know where he came from because he's one of those walk-in salesmen. And then after I made the order, signed the check, a week later, the pallet showed up, and I just had a couple gallons worth, or not a couple. I had a pallet's worth of chemicals and other processes that I could use. It's all gone now, but yeah, I don't know where we could find him.
I see.
Is there anything on that
I
receipt?
see. All right. Well, we're gonna. Just Fey Incorporated. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you?
No, I'd have to go in town and check the BBB, like local BBB stuff at the town center police station.
And no phone number on there?
Uh, there is a phone number, but if you tried it, it wouldn't work. It is not connected.
Can I try to steal using the infiltrator ability the binoculars as Valentine's talking with the farmer if I can't do a little sleight of hand to just pickpocket those binoculars?
From Valentine?
From the farmer, weren't they the farmer's binoculars that he handed Valentine?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Um, you can try and you can pick them, or you can ask them for them, and then just kind of walk off with them. But yeah, so go ahead and make a dexterity check and meet or beat the target. Dang, right at the target. So yeah, um,
Nice.
how do you get the binoculars from him? Are you just like, give me these,
Well, like
or
no, they're like just kind of to the side, and he's, looking over to his left shoulder talking to Valentine, and I just very slowly reach over and gingerly take the binoculars and tuck them behind my belt and my suit pocket, in like my suit pants, and so
okay,
I've got them concealed, and it was just a really kind of nimble, stealthy move.
cool. I don't remember if I have items for that for this. Equipment.
And if Valentine noticed what Skip was trying to do, he would have kind of tried to further distract the farmer, with some pointing at out in the field, tell me about that,
Sure.
just drawing his attention elsewhere.
Skip, just make sure you write down binoculars +3 to whiz for scouting.
Nice.
Um, on Skip's turn, as you're pickpocketing this and stuff, you do kind of get a faint sense of uh the same kind of sense from when you're at the house, in the suburban house, and it does seem to head back down the road, or at least where the road would go, back towards into town.
What seems to be going back into town?
Uh, the uh, whatever was trying to come out, or whatever had previously come out of these,
Oh,
um, it coalesced and went into town from this area.
swarms, I guess, is what they flew back in direction towards town. Okay.
Yep.
Well, this
Um,
might be their breeding grounds out here. Um, Valentine, I say we do a little driving around and see what we might be able to scout out.
so Valentine, as they kind of get up to leave the farmer, and says, I recommend you continue using that blowtorch on your animals. You don't want to add to the Alabama tick fly population out here any more than already is.
The farmer says, "Yeah, you're right. Uh, I'll take care of these." And slaps his knees, stands up in good old Midwestern fashion, and says, "I'll take care of this. Thank you, gentlemen."
As we walk back to our SUV, Valentine kind of pops the trunk and reaches into a styrofoam cooler, the kind you'd get at any kind of convenient, gas station store.
Yeah, the Fourth of
Pops the
July
top
ice
off of
cooler.
there. Yep. Mm-hmm. And pulls the top off of there. Pulls out a beer, cracks it, and takes a big gulp of it, and says, "God, you freaking hear that? Those insects, man. I still got that ringing in my ears a bit." And
Yeah,
then
they might be kind of stuck in the car. I don't know. maybe got to pop the hood and check. It might be in the AC.
He gives Skip a sort of deadpan look, like, "Don't be fucking with me right now, Skip." And
Well,
then
let's keep driving around here and see if we see any other dead animals or any other swarms of flies, and we'll poke around there until we can figure out who or what Fae Incorporated may be.
Gotcha. So part of my mental vision of when Valentine got his beer out and was standing behind the truck, kind of like in his work polo, collar's a little messed up, but he like stands there, puts the beer up to his mouth, and you just hear like, and flames just woof on the carcasses behind him, and he's like puts the beer down, he's like, yeah, let's go.
when we get in the vehicle, I make a point to turn on the radio a little bit louder than, a little more on the loud side. Again, just the idea of trying to drown out like the insects ringing still in his head. Kind of hearing that that loud buzzing, the sort of grating inside his skull,
hmm
from what he just heard, just to kind of drown that out a little bit with some music.
Um, so as you guys are driving around, ticking down my timer here, um, you do get another page from Blacklight that says that you need to uh, report back to another, not the same suburban location, but it's another street in the suburban town. And they say that somebody has reported disturbances similar to that of the previous house, but no injuries yet. Please investigate.
Oh, we gotta head on over there quick.
He looks
These flies are
at
starting to hurt
Skip
my
and says, "Jesus,
eardrums.
these flies are busy."
So as you get there, uh, you see like a family inside the house, and the blinds are drawn shut, but there's like a big mass of flies. God dang it, cat, get down. He really wants my
And a
attention.
cat.
No, my cat wants my attention because my wife's upstairs and the baby's crying, and he's like, "Why are you
Oh
down
my God,
here?"
it's flying cats.
um, there's a mass of flies and stuff, and this time, after you guys have seen the previous one, Valentine, you can definitely tell that there's a shape within the flies, that massive flies and stuff like that, and
Hmm.
it's trying to get inside the door, and like the paint and stuff on the outside of the around the outside of the door in the front of the house is being eaten away by the flies, and it seems to be like pounding on the door.
Hmm. Tell me you're seeing that too, he says to Skip.
Hmm. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there's anything that we can do to better prepare ourselves this time. Um,
So I would say, or let's do this real quick. What kind of stuff would you think black light would give you to be able to combat something paranormal, or are guns sufficient enough normally?
I would say guns typically probably wouldn't be that sufficient, but they make
but
Valentine
that's
feel
what
comfortable
they
to
would
have
give you.
one.
Okay, so
Like, they would only give you a gun. Like, that's the only, like, oh, like I'm expected to take down an ancient evil with a pistol. Um, I don't know, without getting silly with it.
okay, that's fine.
Um,
That's cool. So as you come up and you pull it, like I imagine there's a little bit of yard in front of it. You guys pull up on the side of the road, and the camera looks in the window, and both of you just like turn your head to the left, and you're like, "Oh shit."
as we pull up and I see that thing look like it's banging on the door, or whatever, I lay on the horn for whatever reason. I'm thinking maybe somehow that horn can I don't know, distract or stop or disturb the flies for some way in some way.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, that sounds great. What it does is when you honk on the horn, it like you can see it. I don't know if Skip can see it, but it looks like it kind of goes, huh, and it turns around to look at you, and then as you wail on the horn and stuff, it like it kind of picks up and takes off and floats down the street, and this time you can visibly see it.
You see that, right?
Whoa. Yeah, I saw that. Um, that was like a person made of
Is it in the
flies.
middle of the street?
It is on the middle of the street. It's kind of going in between like cars and the sidewalk and going down the street and stuff.
I'm gonna. I say to Skip, put on your seatbelt. I'm gonna attempt to run it over.
Okay.
Love it. Floor it.
Um, so as you guys do that, you chase it down. We'll give it
I guess not run over, but run through it. To try and crash in, basically
Mhm.
hit it.
let's give it 1 heart's worth of effort, and I
Mhm.
want you to make a driving check, thus Dex. Make a Dex check.
Okay. Let's see what I have. I don't know if I would have driving abilities. Any kind of bonus there. Human singing, general skill. I would think I might have, would have driving training. I would think,
Oh, for sure.
but
Being in the service and your
yeah.
background, you definitely have driving training.
All right, so
So
I'm rolling a
make it easy.
dex.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, hot diggity.
Hey,
All right.
Nice.
So
hey.
you're driving. You're making effort. So roll a d6 plus a d12. Sounds like you're gonna get this in one foul swoop. Foul soup? Fell soup? I think it's fell soup.
So before I roll this, Skip, how are you feeling
Mhm.
with my driving right now? Like,
Um, like just holding on for dear life, but like with that last roll, I'm feeling pretty comfortable.
I'm thinking yeah, yeah, he's got speed and control going on here, and here we go. Let's see what that looks like.
Oof.
Eh, not pretty.
Not the best roll, but you're definitely catching up. The entity is in front of you, and you're catching up to it, but it's still in front of you, and it's weaving down the road, and it looks back every once in a while, and as you're catching up and stuff.
And I'm thinking maybe the horn might have disturbed. I don't know if it bothered it or it just caught its attention. So I'm gonna kind of keep still kind of hitting that horn so often,
Okay.
just in case it bothers the creature.
It doesn't seem to bother it. It did catch the attention of it. So every time you honk on the horn, it looks behind it because it's not used to hearing that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Skip, do you have anything that you think you can add in a car chase? Do you have a pistol, or do you have any kind of stuff you
I
could?
I have a the All Saints neck chain,
Okay.
and just being a visionary, I'm just kind of like got a feeling that maybe I might be able to kind of like shake this as we're driving at this cloud of flies and to see maybe if there's any kind of impact.
Okay. Cool. 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 Because I kind of see visionaries as like your urban wizard or like your urban seer person. Uh, Go ahead and
Hmm.
make a wisdom check. Um, to see if you can. Well, shoot, you did it.
Nice.
What you're
Very
gonna do,
wise.
what you're doing is, as you're thumbing your All Saints neck chain, kind of like a rosary, you do notice that the swarm of flies
Hmm.
is slowing down. So go ahead and roll a d6 for me. Boom, 4. All right, so we
Nice.
got one more thing for Valentine to do. So Valentine, another drive check, or do you got anything else you want to do?
No, at this point I'm focused on, my my hot driving, running this thing down.
Okay. Almost.
So almost.
Um,
Mm.
I will say we do have hero coins. I don't think I marked them on the
But you
character
said
sheet.
my drive check is easy.
Yes, actually, you're correct. It is easy. Thank you for
Oh,
catching
that's
me
cool.
on that. So you did make it, because you have plenty of driving experience from being in the force. You
Oh,
catch up to the massive flies, and it sounds like you hit somebody, but there's no one there, and they just kind of stop and recoalesce behind the vehicle and just stay put, and it's in the middle of the street going.
I throw my arm around, look back with the vehicle in reverse and back up over it again.
Same thing, no effect. It does feel like you hit something, but the flies are still there. There are dead flies on the ground now, but there's still enough flies that you can still see like something on the ground, like getting up on its hands and knees and just kind of like,
Son of a bitch! Should have got that farmer's blowtorch. But it looks
Yeah,
like
I
there's a
should have still.
form. There's a form on all fours in front of the vehicle now.
yes.
Huh. I'm gonna open the door and step out and yell at it. Don't even frickin' think about it, buddy.
Uh,
Stay right there.
and you can kind of see like a black shaped head made out of flies look at you. There's no eyes that you can see, but you
Mm-hmm.
do feel like, that when the hackles stand up on your neck from somebody looking at you across the room from behind you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you get the feeling of. Um, and it says, "I don't want to go back. I just, I need help."
Clearly,
And we're going to do another D4 roll
right
here.
now you've you need to chill out, and we're gonna see what we can do to help you. All right. Just stay cool, stay calm. I'm cool. You're cool. My buddy's cool. We're all cool. All
It
right. We're gonna get you some help.
and when it kind of stands up to its full height, it's like it looks like a man or like a person, but it's at least 8 foot tall and of buzzing and swarming flies.
Mm-hmm.
Make a wisdom check, everybody, because this is intimidating.
Oh yeah. All right.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Mm.
Okay. So, uh, roll everybody. Just take one -1 sand if you failed. Um, because what you're staring at is a large entity of flies that is 8 foot tall and just to somebody who's not you guys is just super scary. This is the thing of nightmares. But you two, you've seen this before. You've seen things like this before. This is another Tuesday. Uh, so uh, as it stands there, what do you do to interact with it? What do you? It seems to be somewhat complying. So what do you do?
Um, my human int ability, would
Mm-hmm.
this classify as an unwilling subject that I might be able to obtain some kind of information from,
Oh, for
or
sure.
can it not speak?
And I'm also going to turn up the target here to 12, just because it's kind of a new scene, and also now you're dealing directly with the entity, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Uh, yeah, you can use Hume Int here if you want to. That would give you some bonuses or make the roll easier.
Yeah, so I'll do that, and I'm gonna be screaming like, "Identify yourself. What are you? Where do you come from?"
We
And we,
we
oh
are the
boy.
servant flies. Where do we come from? The natural realm. We don't want to go back.
Hmm. The natural
Well, tough luck.
the Fey realm.
Is that what the humans call it? We call it the first, the natural.
Yeah, yeah, we call it the Fey realm, I think. Um, are you the master?
No, do not say that name. And it kind of like recoils and like at you and stuff. Like if
Who?
somebody
All right.
if somebody shushed at you, all of those flies are shushing at you.
That sounds creepy. Uh, so, where did you come from? Like, are you part of like the? Did you attack a guy earlier? And why were you banging on that other house door?
I just I just need food. I desire food. I am hungry. In this in the material realm, the second I hunger more and desire to eat when nothing is available, we feast on material, then we feast on what is available.
Valentine goes back to his convenience store cooler and pulls out some jerky and throws that at the hive, at the swarm of flies.
Uh, as you do that, they look at it and they're like, only in the most dire of circumstances, when we are unable to uh, feast on what you call starch, thread, sugars.
I wish you would have told me that before I threw it at you. Well, uh,
Although
let's
I think your action may prove fruitful in 2 rounds, so we'll see.
all right. Um, so who is this master? Did he bring you over into this realm, or is he trying to take you back?
No, we flee through portal. Portal is unfortunately carrion due to our nature here, but in the first world, uh, portal is just darkness, death. So we found death and came here.
All right, buddy. Where is this portal at? Maybe we need to check that out. Where's that at?
Uh, where you destroy the earth, I came from there. Many
Looks over at
animals.
Skip and says, "Would you believe we're talking to a bunch of flies?" Yeah, destroy the earth.
Yeah, I know where that is.
Many animals. There was a caretaker there. We are sorry that we had to deal with that. Uh, there was just no other sustenance for us. The cows. The horse was on its last legs, though.
Oh, at the farm?
Yes, the place
So
where you
you're saying
destroy
it
the
was
earth.
gonna die anyways?
Mm-mm.
Well, I don't know if we can contain this thing or if we have any hope.
Do you have
Um,
safety for me? Food? Sustenance? We desire
What's your
safety.
favorite food?
We do not want to go back. The master wants to force us into servitude.
Mm-mm. What's your favorite food?
Sugar.
All right. Well, I've got. He goes back to the to the beer cooler, pulls out one beer, sets it aside, and then opens the other beers and dumps it into the cooler and pours it in to fill it up, and says, "Hop on in here. There's some sugar in here."
So yeah, you do
with
that.
with the
And
idea of basically giving him the beer to eat,
mhm.
the sugars in the beer to eat, but also to contain this thing inside the cooler. And then of course he set a beer aside for himself.
None for Skip though.
Would Skip does Skip partake? He didn't want one earlier.
Nah, Skip's. Yeah, I'm dry.
Okay. So, um, as you do, sloshing around a little bit, getting it up front, and you set it down next to the jerky. Um, the timer ticks down one more time, and you see the flies just dive into the beer, and
Mm-hmm.
like there's no drinking sounds, but they're able to like pick out molecules and different things out of the beer, and eventually it is reduced down to basically just natty light ice water,
Mm-hmm.
and that you do see that the form grows in size with the amount of sugar that it has gotten, and the swarm
Oh, that's not good.
increases. Um, there are some inside of the container, um, but yeah, and it
Am I
looks
able
to
to if I put the top on the container, would it be trapped in there?
yes, for the time being, you would be able to trap some like most of the entity in there, because when it stoops down, you see it like kind of dissipate and go into the container. Um,
Okay.
So if you slammed it on top of it, you would be able to contain it. You would probably be attacked by some of the not ancillary, but like the extra flies outside of it, but you would
Right.
contain most of it.
Right. And I'm gonna say just hang tight in there, buddy. We'll get you we'll get you squared away, and then I put it on there. So I don't slam it shut like a like an offensive maneuver or like a trap, but obviously that's what I want to do. I'm just saying, hey, just hang tight in there and just shut them down, shut them in there.
Hmm.
Okay. As you do that, the flies outside kind of like look around, land on your skin. You feel like I don't know if you've ever seen a horse fly, but they have these really gross mouth parts, and it like butterflies
Mm-hmm.
out and like touches things. You can feel it like touching your skin and stuff like that, and eventually they go to the beef jerky on the ground and start eating that, because that's the only thing that's left, and then they eventually
Mm-hmm.
die. Uh,
Hmm.
so yeah, you now have a contained entity. Um, yeah.
As we
Great
I
job, Valentine.
close everything up, as Skip and I are kind of getting back in the vehicle, I say, you realize what we got in that freaking cooler?
Uh, I don't exactly know what it is, but I can believe that we have something of that sort. And from what it was telling us, it's not the only one of them that's around here. So we've got to get back to that farm and investigate further.
All right, but we're sending this thing back through this portal or whatever, right? Or we're burning it.
Oh yeah, we're not keeping this thing. No, screw
Yeah.
this thing. I don't know where it's from, what it is. We gotta. Maybe we
Okay.
can go back to the farmer's house and I can steal his blowtorch, and that might help us.
Oh, that would be hilarious. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you guys what to do. I just think that'd be hilarious. Okay. So you guys are going back to the farm then, huh?
Well, that's
Okay.
where he says that's where the portal was, is from what I understand what it sounded like from in our communications with this fly boy.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So you guys
Yeah,
are heading
and
back.
I'm
Oop.
requesting Valentine like drive right up to the house, like not to like the gate or
Okay.
anything. Like we want to get up to the house and see if the farmer's okay. Check in,
Mm-hmm.
if we're able to.
So as you guys are getting closer to the house, or you pull up to the house and stuff, you see the farmer. He's got maybe two. There's like five torched bodies, and he's got like three more left to go. And you can see that he's got like uh chemical science goggles on. He's got a ski mask. He's got his overalls on, a scarf and gloves and a whole bunch of stuff. And he sees you, and he's like, "They're getting real bitey."
Yeah, yeah, I would imagine so. There's a whole bunch of them popping out of these critters, huh? All
And
right.
Uh,
so he's kind of right outside on the porch, is what you said?
no, he's in the pen. So if let me draw a picture of what I have in my head, so we're all on the same page. Because the
Uh-huh.
farm that I'm thinking of is not the same farm that you guys are thinking of. So I'm top. Oop, I gotta move my pencil it's on the other side. Wacom. Nope.
Is this going to take a minute, Phil?
Yeah, shouldn't take too long.
I'm just going to refill my coffee real quick while you do that.
Okay.
I think we probably want to save that farmer here.
Okay. So let's get this drawn up here. We've got a house and a little porch. Your guys' SUVs right here. Let's get the windows. And then there's like a pen, feeder, couple bodies and stuff. And the sidewalk that leads to the driveway that you so eloquently did not park in. Yeah, okay. Shrink this up.
Yeah, we're flying into the dirt driveway, kicking up dust, and Valentine swerves in.
All right.
Okay, so this picture is what I envision, like, this is the farmhouse on this side.
Mhm.
Your truck is right here, or your SUV is right here. And then the farmer is out in this pen, and there's a couple torched bodies, and he is working at it, and just notices that you guys are coming up, and one was yelling out, "They're getting real bitey."
How big of swarms do we have flying around there?
Not too many. It's mostly just the
Mhm.
carrion flies at this point. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there
Oh, okay.
you do see like a couple of the rib cages starting to flap, like if somebody was on underneath a hinge, underneath a door latch, and they were just like poking the latch with it, and it's kind of popping up and down. That's kind of what the rib cages of these other animals are doing. And
Gotcha.
it looks like something is trying to get out of these.
I'm gonna kind of swap my way through any kind of swarms of flies, and I'm gonna set the and I'm carrying the beer cooler with me,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna quickly run up and set that down in front of one of the engorged stomachs, and then and then I'm gonna walk back towards or not walk. I'm gonna hurry back behind the farmer and said, "Burn that up, would you?"
He he looks at you and he's like, "Got it. You might want to step back."
I'll step
Uh,
back.
so he aims his blowtorch at it and just I can't appropriately replicate a blowtorch sound, but it's just awesome. The heat is so tough. I need you to make a Constitution save for me.
Gotcha.
It yeah, nailed it.
Hey.
So you get far enough back that you do feel heat and sweat on the back of your neck as you're like stepping back, and just there's just so much roiling heat, and you hear the most hideous like locust cicada screams as they're burning, and uh like the lid pops off, but then each fly individually is on fire and is falling and plopping to the ground. And the farmer, like, you can see like his baklava make like uh a motion on his mouth, and he just drops the fire flamethrower and is like, "Oh God!" And he books it back to the house and like runs into the house. Flamethrower is still blowing.
I'm gonna pick that up and keep it on the critters. And I look at Skip like, the fuck?
So
Horrible.
I'm gonna have you make another con save.
Okay. And while that was going on, just because of the just prior to him dropping it, I had my fingers in my ears, just recalling the buzzing sound from prior. But
Okay.
after, obviously, to pick it up, I'd have to take my ears out. But all right, let's see. Con 8, 9.
Okay. So take 1 point of burn damage as
Okay.
you pick it up, and this thing is just so hot. It is burning your fingers, and you are just having to aim it at the entity. As you aim it at the entity, it seems to it is dying. It is screaming and screeching and stuff. And as you look around behind it, you do see the other rib cages like getting much wider and stuff like that. You The entity doesn't seem like it's going to be much problem anymore for you.
Okay.
Hey, buddy, yeah.
And so primarily what we're dealing with is like the horsefly kind of stuff.
Yes, the carcasses
Okay,
that are look like a mimic.
gotcha. But no more like sentient flies, I guess, for
Not
lack of
yet.
a better
Yeah.
term. All right.
Yeah,
Um,
buddy.
so then Skip will take that opportunity to run over to the pen and whip out his necklace again,
Mhm.
and hopefully maybe contain these flies, slow them down from emerging, or kill them while they're trapped in the body.
Awesome. That's a cool plan. Go ahead and make a charisma check as you are projecting your will upon these flies using your All Saints chain.
Are you
Perfect.
chanting anything, Skip? Or like hand gestures, or just kind of just intent through intention?
I think just through intention and sheer focus of will.
Copy.
I kind of channeled through this, occult chain that I had gotten
Mhm.
through generations, and maybe an heirloom of some sort.
That's so rad. Okay. So yeah, as you're doing that, you hear other screams coming from within the carcasses. The bodies are starting to jiggle and writhe as though something inside was just like throwing a temper tantrum inside of a small box or something like that. If you were like when you were a kid, did you ever crawl into your toy chest and you're like, yeah, you can't see me, and then just like I don't know, I did that as a kid. So that's what I
Just last
imagine is
week.
like.
What
you,
do you
so
mean as a
like
kid? Yeah.
you imagine like something's throwing a temper tantrum inside this body. It's encased in the portal and it's trying to get out, but you're keeping it in. Uh,
Mm.
so yeah. Um, make a dex roll
So
for
do you
me.
realize
Oop.
that, Skip? Do you are you? Does it feel like that the dead horses are the portals? Is that what?
Was that a question for me or
If at
Skip?
least not the
Okay.
portals, I know
Oh,
that they're
uh-huh.
feeding off of these things, and if they're not coming from that, they're maybe reproducing, and that the second that they are without food, they die quickly. So if I can kind of keep them contained in the skin, screaming in pain, and they'll try to eat each other, or they'll just die quickly because there's nothing left for them to consume.
Do I need to keep burning these?
Yes. I
All
was gonna
right.
have you make a dex roll at easy, so 9 or better,
Okay.
to burn the next set of bodies. Easy because you've got not Valentine. You are Valentine. You got Skip assisting and helping you subdue the entities. Awesome.
14, sir.
So you're able to burn the bodies. Burn the first one at least. Um, and it just goes up in flames, and you continue to hear that screeching sound. Um, make a decent or make a wisdom saving roll for both of you. Uh, nice. I was just gonna say that if you what you're rolling for, Skip, is the ability to concentrate on your All Saints chain and stuff like that. With your wisdom check,
Hmm.
take 1 point of sanity loss, but then you're losing the ability to concentrate on these corpses and carcasses and help like
Mm,
subdue it.
shit.
So,
Yeah.
um, Skip, do you have anything else you want to do, or actually, it's Valentine's turn. Valentine, go ahead.
Um, we need to find this portal thing that the Flyboy was talking about here and destroy that somehow.
And I do think you were on. I'll give you this. You were on to the right hint that the carcasses are the portals. That's where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess so. I'm there's just two left, and I'm burning them right now.
Yep.
So hopefully that'll. All right. So hopefully we'll destroy those. At least those. I don't know whether another portal might open up somehow, but I'm obviously going to keep destroying these horses
Okay. Go
because
ahead and make a regular dexterity check, 12 or better.
uh, because I'm sure it smells awesome. I'm doing so.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, uh, with with the noise and stuff and the relived recent traumas and stuff of what you're experiencing, you're kind of shaken to get the weapon the flamethrower pointed. Um, Skip, what do you want to do? You want
Um, I am going to try to fire a couple of shots into uh, this carcass.
Okay, go ahead and do that. Dex roll. Um, Dang. Uh, yeah,
Hmm.
you think that the pistol is a little bit out of range, and you may have to get closer to hit it better, or be able to hit the carcasses better. It's the the pistol's not accurate outside of 30 feet, and you're not a marksman yourself, so it's not your forte.
Yeah, and like my eyes were kind of closed, so
Okay. Um,
the flies were in they were in my eyes. That was
Yeah.
the problem.
Right.
there you go. One of the carcasses at the end does seem to pop open, but nothing has
Okay.
come out of it yet. Go ahead, Valentine.
Yeah, I'm gonna move the flame onto that thing too, seeing that pop open. And I asked Skip, like, do you think the whatever is causing this is in the ground here? This whatever's this
Yeah,
portal, that whatever the hippies were calling the ancient site. And then I have no idea what that has to do with the chemical that's been coming around here either.
I agree. I agree. Um, Valentine, I think we got to burn up this whole farm. I think we got to raise the farm.
Take off, nuke it from orbit. Only way
Just
to be sure.
yeah, so Skip is coming to this realization like that yes, this is, not it's the occult, but Valentine's spot on that the portals are probably somehow related to these fly horse carcasses, and he's like, we got to burn it down. So he's looking around for like a storehouse or any kind of chemicals, um, any fertilizers, barrels of hay, anything that's big and flammable.
Ooh. So
Or
yes.
even perhaps
Go ahead. Go ahead,
I
Valentine.
would say too, perhaps farmer, maybe he's got a backhoe. Maybe we need to dig down a little bit too, as far as finding if there is a actual physical portal that's buried under there. If we're gonna just that might be easier to
Yeah.
destroy that way.
Yeah, but that digging takes a while, so I was thinking is we could put some fertilizer into either the basement of the house or into the septic tank, and then we light it up
Jesus.
and we just save ourselves a day.
Arson 101, huh? Uh,
Yeah, and it was a horrible earthquake that happened. That's how we're gonna report this.
Well, yeah, the septic gases. Yeah.
Swamp gas reflected the light off of Venus and
Mm-hmm.
caused an explosion. So
Yep.
if you're looking for that, there is a barn. You do see that there are round bales of hay. You're not going to be able to pick them up yourself. You would have to use a machine. There are smaller square bales of hay,
Mm-hmm.
and you do see like not Scott's turf, but it looks like Scott's turf, just bags of dry fertilizer that would be put into a machine and flung out and stuff like that.
Um, yeah, I'm gonna call out to Valentine, like ask him
Mm-hmm.
for advice. Like, what do you think I should do? What do you think the move here is?
Well, can I see? Do I guess I can either see or I know about all those large bales of hay. The guy's obviously got to have some type of loader mechanism to move that around the property. So
Yes,
if there's um, some type of front loader, perhaps.
and there is
Front
a
loader or a
you do
tractor?
see like tines sticking out or like in the darkness sticking out in the
That I
barn
can work
where the
with.
hay bales are.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going for it. I'm gonna investigate and see if I can't find some heavy hardware to bring back. So I'm gonna attempt to go run into our barn.
Okay. Um,
That'd be maybe
Valentine.
the whole turn of like a far move.
Yeah, that'd be a far move, just to get into that area and take a look around. So Valentine,
Mhm.
you are still torching these flies. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you do see kind of like a hand reach up out, like a fly. If it was a fly, it's all made out of flies, but it looks like a hand is reaching up out of the carcass and like kind of lifting its head up out of it now. Go ahead and make the roll at easy for dexterity to torch it.
Shit, my mouse just died on me.
Uh-oh. If you need to,
Hold
I
on.
can do it for you.
Yeah, yeah, I gotta charge up this mouse, I guess. If you wouldn't mind rolling for me, please, while I
Yep,
grab
I
a
can do that.
charger.
Dex. Hot diggity. 15 plus 1, 16.
Nice.
Nice.
All right, so you do torch. I'm not gonna have like effort rolls on these carcasses because once it gets hit with flame, it just goes up in flame. Uh, so you hit this next carcass with the hands coming out of it, and it looks like when you hit it, the hands just kind of like let go and are like, oh god, and like make like I just touched a hot burner actions, and then they disappear and curl up, and the flies are dropping, and the body seems to. When that rib cage had opened, it looked like there was an inkier black than black that shouldn't be possible during the day, but as you torch it, the body returns back to a charred black body meat looking color and loses the darkness that the unnatural darkness inside. Anything else or oop, I just got robot noises.
Um, you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello, hello.
Yep.
Oh, good. Um,
I'm wondering if Shady Mother
I
had
went
a
to. I'm sorry. I went to grab a cable just to charge up the mouse.
gotcha. That's probably what
oh, no
the sound
worries.
was then. Picked up the electrical
The
current.
plugging in, yeah.
I find that if I have my phone too close to my speakers will pick up like when I start getting a phone call, it'll be like
Hmm.
"Zzz."
Yeah, I actually use like this old speaker set from Sharper Image that I swear I got when I was like 12, and I've had it forever, and it just works.
Mhm.
And there is one downside to it, and like I honestly should buy. There's no reason I shouldn't just buy new speakers, because the radio function, which I haven't used in over a decade or plus, I don't know. I haven't used the CD player. It's got 3 CDs, 3 CD changer. I only use it for the computer, but it will, on that setting on aux, pick up the radio frequencies. So sometimes like I'm just like watching a movie or like playing a game, and then like I start getting like Latin music that slowly starts like kind of coming in the background, and
Creepy.
it's a little frustrating, but it's not frustrating enough where I bought new speakers in 20 years.
I'd find
Yeah,
that
that's
creepy, especially like if I'm sitting there and I'm not doing anything and I just hear like music start. I'd be like, "What devilry is in my house?"
Yeah. Yeah, it's just been so long that now I'm like, oh yeah, I know what it is. It's fine.
like Jumanji. You're hearing some other world.
Yeah. All right. But so back to my turn here.
Yep.
Back to Skip. So Skip is here in the barn and looking around. Is it pretty dark, or maybe some light coming in through the slats? Can I see heavy equipment that I might be able to use to drive over to the horse pen?
Yep, you definitely do. Once your eyes adjust, you see a front loader, small like John Deere's front loader tractor, uh, just sitting there, green with little pitchforks on the front and waiting for somebody to drive it.
Um, Great. So, first thing Skip's gonna do is check for keys.
Uh,
And
on tractors, there's no keys. You just poke the on button and they go.
Oh,
Well,
really? You just
maybe
poke the
newer
on button.
ones,
Great.
maybe the newer ones do, but like the ones that I grew up with, you just get in it and then you poke the on button and they go.
Yeah. So he hops on, turns it on, and then he's looking back to see what he can throw in. And I think that he's gonna spend hopefully the rest of this turn just loading up the small John Deere with some hay and some bags of fertilizer.
All right, cool. You do that. You put some bales on the back end. There's like there's some forks on the back and it's got a pallet and you load up the pallet with bags of fertilizer and stuff. And it's kind of heavy, so it takes you a little bit, but yeah. So that's your whole turn. You load up the tractor, you got it going, and you need to get it outside the pitchfork or like fork a bale of hay and stuff.
Hmm.
Okay. So there were 2 bodies left. I think we had assumed that there were 3. Uh, no, there's 1 body left, I think, because you torched the first one, then you just torched the second one, and now you got to torch the last one. So, same thing as you torch that second body, Valentine. Same thing. You see like the rib cage just kind of flip open, unnaturally, and it's this inky black void that shouldn't be possible during the day, and
Oh,
some hands start coming up out of it. So it is your turn.
like fly hands or like fly, like the fly swarm hands
Yeah,
or
fly
like a
swarm
hand
hands.
hand.
Fly swarm
Okay.
hands.
Yep. God, that's disturbing. And then I torch it.
Uh, yeah, just go ahead and roll a dex check again at easy, so 9 or better. And
Can you roll for me?
oh,
My
that's right.
mouse is still charging.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Beep.
I apologize.
Nice,
Nice.
killing it. So you're able to torch that last body, screams abound, and all that stuff. Um, and it seems like all of the carcasses that are present and available are torched up. And just as you do that, the farmer comes out with his shotgun and is just like,
Uh-oh.
"Did you? Are they all gone? What'd you do?"
I hold the flamethrower up, kind of like the action hero type pose, and said, "I torched him."
All right.
Kind of the elbow resting on the hip while they're holding the gun, big old gun out to the side, type of shot.
Yep. Skip, what you doing? You driving out?
Yep, driving out, coming back here, and I've got now a truck full of hay and fertilizer. And farmer's kind of looking at me like, "What the hell? What are you doing with my equipment here, and
Yeah, and he
he's
points the
kind of,
shotgun at you and
really
he's like,
confused.
"What do you plan on doing over there? You need to you need to get off my tractor. I appreciate you helping me with this problem, but I don't know if you know how to drive that tractor, and I certainly don't need you trying to steal hay for whatever reason."
Yeah,
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
I
Hey,
was
hey,
just
hey, buddy.
borrowing it.
There's
Yeah, so
yeah, we gotta take care of this field here with fire. And
Hold up. You're gonna destroy my whole livelihood over a couple dead carcasses?
well, as you saw, uh, these Alabama tick flies have infested the ground here, and the only way to root them out is with fire, which you successfully discovered. So thank you very much for your efforts.
I
We
better
got
be
it from
get
here.
I better be getting some sort of payment back from the government for this. You guys work for the government, right? I need payment because this is my livelihood. If you go out and destroy my farm, how am I gonna feed my family? How am I gonna make money? How am I gonna like do just
Yep,
live?
that's understood. Uncle Sam will and the Federal Bureau of Animal Control will make sure you are compensated for
I
this,
want
and
he like pokes
thank
you
you
in
for
the
your
chest.
sacrifice.
I want it right now. You can't be out here destroying my stuff with fake false promises and empty words. I need written words. I need checks. I need cash.
At this point, sir, I'm
okay.
afraid you're we this is a matter of haste. We're going to burn this, and then we'll get you squared away.
Skip, you sound like you were talking or speaking up.
Yeah, yeah. So I can distract here this farmer is what I'm thinking,
Okay.
and
Mm.
as he approaches, and I'm gonna hold up the binoculars that I took from him, and I go, hey, well, I borrowed your tractor, but I also borrowed your binoculars. All of your things really are up for grabs, and I'm really kind of just antagonizing him and getting to focus on me.
Yeah,
Mm.
and he snatches them away from you. Or let's make a contested dex roll. I'm gonna roll a d20. You roll your d20 plus dex, and we'll see if he can grab it from you. Now, he may be getting those binos back.
Oh,
Yeah, he snatches those binos out of your hand. He's like, "Give me them shits back. Now get off my tractor, and you guys need to leave before it. Do not destroy my house. I need you to. Uh, I I believe you, but I want that payment. I need Uncle Sam to be truthful to their word, because I'm out here keeping everybody. I'm feeding my family, plus all these other people out here who don't even know how farming works. They just expect it to show up."
um, while he was talking with Skip, well, yeah, I'm pretty sure Valentine's going to come up behind him and attempt to just bop him, knock him out.
Okay. Let's
Nice.
make a strength check. 12 or better.
I was trying to
And
set you up for murder, but I like this much better.
strength
Can
check.
you? I'm sorry. Yeah,
Oh,
could you
that
roll
I'm
that for
sorry,
me? I'm
derp.
sorry.
I keep forgetting that. Boom.
Oi.
So yeah, you bop this guy in the back of the head with the butt of the flamethrower, and he just kind of goes out cold. And yeah, you're both just staring at he's not dead, but unconscious farmer man on the ground.
And then, I'll tell Skip. I said, "You get that hay spread around there. I'm gonna," and I go to just drag this guy back up onto the porch.
At this point, we're out
Yeah.
of out. At this point, we're out of like combat rounds and stuff. But yeah, Valentine, you're dragging the body. Skip, you're able to do whatever you're gonna say next.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, and I'm gonna say, yeah, and if you can, check and see if there's a cellar or a basement, just to be certain we can't get any lower here while I spread this stuff out over the field.
Copy that.
And so then, yeah, I'll take the latch out of the back trunk here and start scraping hay down and spreading it over the field, getting ready to do as controlled of a burn as I can. over this forsaken field.
Okay. So you get that stuff spread out, and Valentine's able to torch it when he gets to that point. Or you can do it if you want to take the reins on that.
Yeah, we can maybe do it as we're driving away in a blaze of glory with a cigarette or something.
Yeah, I did leave the flamethrower out there if he needed access to it while I dragged him in, so that's accessible if should he need it.
Yeah, in case something goes wrong, but ideally we're not lighting the farm up until we're ready to leave.
Okay. So that makes sense. Is there anything else you want to do then before you leave and triumphantly torch the place?
Well, when I'm gonna drag the farmer up onto the porch, and then I'm gonna continue inside and look, or you know what, farmhouse. This probably has a basement entrance from the outside. What do you call that? Like a root cellar.
Root cellar, storm
Yeah, like a
cellar.
tornado cellar.
Yeah, I've always called it a
Yeah, so
storm cellar.
I'm gonna look for that. Leaving the farmer on the porch, I'm gonna look for that root cellar and go underneath and see if I can't see any signs of further contamination.
As you do, you don't really see any. There's no extra flies or anything like that. Um, there's no portals. It just seems very localized to the animals. Uh,
Okay.
normal operate. Well, I grew up on a farm, so normal operations of like there's some meat processing down there. There's like meat meat showers and stuff like that. Nothing creepy unless it's taken out of context and stuff. But like you'd hang up a pig or something like down there and clean
Gotcha.
it out.
No long pig hanging up there. Yeah.
No. Nothing like that.
All right, and then when I exit the root cellar, I'm gonna come in through the back door of the house, and then work my way through again, looking for anything odd inside the house that artifact wise or something like that. Just again looking for contamination before we plan to leave this site.
Um, you do find kind of like a wicker. Looks like an eight-pointed wicker thing. Uh, somebody had woven it together. You know, like those old God's eyes that you'd used to make as a kid. At least I made them. Where you'd like use different colors of string to make a pattern and make what we called a God's eye or something like that. You find
Hmm.
one of those, but it's got 8 points instead of four, and it's made out of like really rough twined kind of material instead of nice smooth fabric.
Hmm. So the fact that I noticed that, I'm guessing it stands out as
Yeah, it's stark.
abnormal.
It's stark contrast to the rest of the house because like the house has frilly flower patterns on the top of the like
Okay.
around the kitchen and stuff. The counters are uh, faux granite colored vinyl stuff, and uh, the cabinets are all normal and stuff like that. So everything it looks pretty normal, like they would be a normal happy family, but there's just like this weird ominous wicker eight-pointed star.
All right.
Make a intelligence check for me. At
Okay.
normal difficulty. Skip would have easy on this, but for you it's gonna be normal.
All right. Would you mind
Oh,
rolling, please?
I'm sorry. Duh, duh,
No,
duh.
it's my bad. I'm sorry, my mouse died.
Intelligence check. You
Okay.
happen to recognize this as a eight-pointed star of chaos.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good.
Um, it
So
was
We got
I'm
to
gonna
burn
grab.
down the whole farm.
underneath it. You do find extra receipt, like an extra copy of the receipt that you found earlier from the master, uh,
Oh,
and stuff like that. So
do I recognize it as a copy or an additional receipt?
it's an additional receipt.
I wonder where this guy's chemicals are. So I'm gonna grab the that star, and then also on my way out, I'm gonna grab a couch pillow, and as I walk out, I'm gonna put that underneath the farmer's head.
Okay. When
And
you pick
then
up the 8-pointed star, make a charisma roll.
okay, I need you to do that.
Oh, duh! I keep telling you to do that, and I need to do it. Sorry. Nailed it. So as you pick it up, you feel kind of a sensation of this thing is icky, and that's the only word that you could describe it as a grown man is icky. I
All right. Yeah, it just feels unclean, I guess.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Like, so I am going to take that out with me. My plan is to throw it into where the hay is in that field, and then, like I said, I put the pillow underneath the farmer's head. Then I walk over to the field and I kind of hold that up so Skip can see it, and then I toss it out into the field onto the hay for burning.
Okay.
And I go over to Skip, and as I'm kind of like, I don't know, slapping my hands almost like to get rid of that unclean feeling. And I walk up to Skip and I said, "You got any Purell?" And then I show him the additional receipt. I said, "You didn't see any chemicals in the farm in the barn house, did you?"
I didn't see anything, but I wasn't really looking for
You
chemicals. I
would
was
have
looking
seen
for.
a pallet of like dry chemical. It would have been right next to the fertilizer stuff.
Oh yeah, okay. So and then in that case, relay that information back to Valentine, and I think that then what we probably both want to do is march back over to that barn,
Yeah. Start that on fire. Or actually, you know what? We'll
make a
over
little
there, I
trail.
guess, get a sample of it to take back to, to send for analysis, and then probably just burn that whole thing up, and then and then get this field. I reckon. What do you think?
Good call. Yeah, good call. Let's get a sample, make a trail of chemical or hay to the field, light it up from the car, and let's get out of
Mhm.
here.
Perfect. Is there anything else you want to do before I narrate this ending scene?
I'd say to Skip, I said I should have checked his fridge. Got another beer.
Yeah, we can do that on the way back to the car, and we'll check on him and make sure that he's okay before we leave.
Awesome. Yeah, so Valentine trots into the house, raids the fridge, pulls out 2 beers. Uh, and as Valentine's checking on the farmer, he is alive. He's got a pulse. He is breathing and stuff like that, but he's just kind of out of it. Uh, and Valentine comes back out with the 2 beers.
Very nice. And I think, but as before we leave the house, maybe no cell phones, but we call 911 and we report that there's a fire
Oh, this
and
is the
hop in
late
the car
90s,
and
early
leave.
90s, mid 90s. You've got the big bag phone.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we've got the suitcase shoulder strap phone.
Yep.
Awesome.
Hey, yep.
But yeah, so that's inconvenient. We left it in the car, so I still use the landline and I go, "There's a fire on my property," and Skip does his best farmer impersonation. You go, "Come help me! My farm is on fire!" And so we close the door and
Valentine gives him
make our
the
way back
the
to the
OK
car.
symbol. The circled finger. Like that was perfect.
Nailed it. All right. So as you guys go back out to the car, then you flick the whatever your light source is, and it hits the hay, and you watch it as it trails all the way back to the big mass of where you put all the fertilizer and hay. And as you're driving away, it lights up into a big green yellowish fire that doesn't seem like a fire. It seems more like someone just ripped walls out of the ground and then dropped a curtain on the floor, and then it just goes back to a trickling like black smoky, like it the fire had happened and
Hey,
stopped instantly, but everything's fired and torched. And it's just where you put all that fertilizer.
All right. As we're driving, Valentine says to Skip, says, you know they're going to want us to find where else this stuff got sold to. And then he goes, tacos? As a question, like, you want to eat some
I could do
tacos?
tacos. Yeah, I could have a few tacos. That was kind of a rough journey here. Especially if I'm gonna get that smell of flies out of my nostrils, I'll need something pretty spicy.
Nice. And you guys drive down the dirt road. As you're driving, the sirens come up over the hill, and the emergency crews show up, and they find the farmer still there. The fire department's putting water on the ground and stuff, and you guys have stopped an infestation today.
Yeah, that master
Woohoo!
guy, right? He's still out there, I reckon, right?
Yep.
Yep. And who else bought a bunch of that fertilizer stuff too? Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna stop the recording, and we can have a discussion.